Hello, I'm Noah, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create some really cool images in Photoshop using different blending effects and some light effects in order to make a professional image. Okay, so first you're going to go to File, Open, go to the images you want, select them. You can select them all at once, and then click Open. Now it's going to open all the images. Here's the base one that we're starting with. Next, you want to make sure all your images are there, and then go to, well, for me it would be this star image that I'm going to, and I'm going to select it all, Command C to copy, and then just paste it right on here. Show transform control so that you can move it if you need to. And now that the image is in place, we want to move it behind the original. So we double click the layer. We can rename it to whatever we want. In this case, we'll name it light pull because that's what is in the actual image. And then we can make it an editable layer like that, and we can drag this one behind it so that this layer is on top, but the stars layer is still behind. First thing that we're going to use to blend in images is called blendif. First, we double click the layer, and then you'll see on the layer style that blendif is down here. Go down to blue so that it focuses on this right here, and then we'll just drag, and you can see that some of the stars show up in the background. You can see it's really drastic when you go down to the black, and then it fills almost everything with the star image. But we just want a little bit of the blue to show up, so we'll probably do something like this. Hit OK, and then you can see the stars in the background. To get rid of the random stars right here, we'll probably just create a mask, and then make it a bit bigger. Just erase the image. What that's doing is basically telling the image not to actually show where I'm putting the mask on. Then you can see down here where that mask actually was. Now, if this image is too harsh for you, you can also go back, click on your light pole image again. You can drag it all the way back, press Option or Command, and then just drag this over. It'll be less harsh, and you can tell more easily if I do it like this. See? Now if I press Option and just grab this side, it's a lot less harsh when putting in the actual stars, even when I go completely over. So we'll leave it like that, and then I'll reselect the mask layer and just make sure that none of the stars are actually on the trees. Should be good. And next we'll put our moon somewhere up here. So we come over here, just grab our moon, paste it, put it on top of the light pole layer so that the blendif doesn't try to use that again. In order to get rid of the black, we'll need to go down here, select blending options, and then we'll go to lighten, and it should get rid of the black, and then you can just drag, and obviously if your show transform controls are still on, you'll be able to move it how you want. Put it in like this. And then you can eventually change it with adjustments, do hue and saturation, and make it a little bit more blue. In order to make it more blue, we just want to hit the colorize button, give it a blue hue like that. We can make saturation less in order to make it not as blue and still look kind of realistic. And obviously you can change the brightness to however you want to. So if I want it just kind of in the background like that, I can leave the darkness pretty bright. Press OK. And then after that is done, we might want to go to filter rather, then blur, Gaussian blur, and we'll do a little bit of a blur just so that it blends in a bit better with the image. Don't even want 1 pixel, probably like 0.2. That's going to give it a tiny blur so that it blends better with the image, because this image isn't as clear as the moon was. And then next we'll go to light rays. Now for the light up here, we're going to make it so that the light rays kind of come down and focus on him. So in order to make the light rays focus on him, we're going to want to go to this tool. It's under the lasso tool. It's the second one. It's the polygonal lasso tool. We're going to just select along here. See how the light kind of goes down off the image. We'll do that. Select so that it kind of goes along with how you think the light on the image would look. I might have went too far there. So we'll go back there. Then connect it, and we're done. Now, in order to make it look like there's a bit of light coming off that, we're going to go down here, go to curves, shows up right here, and then we can just drag it make sure it's on top of the light pole layer, just drag it on top like that, and then it'll show up like this. Makes him look really bright. Basically all that it's doing is upping the contrast. Now that makes him look super bright, and there's really thick lines that you can see right here, obviously, that we don't want. So in order to get rid of those, we're going to go to filter, blur, then Gaussian blur, and we're gonna set the pixels really high. Like that. Somewhere around 30 is what I'm using. You could probably go more, but that might completely erase the image that you're trying to put on there. So I'm gonna go 33, and then you can see there's a little bit of a line there, but you won't notice probably for the most part. So hit OK. And now to make it so that it really focuses on this guy, we want to go back up to our light again using the polygonal lasso tool and make it focus more on him. And then we'll use a new curves layer, and we'll just drag it up a bit more. Alright. And then now, see how it's getting really blue? We probably don't want that. So we'll go down to blue, maybe pull our blues down a little bit, just so that it's still bright, but it's not incredibly blue. Go back to RGB, and then now we want the same blur, Gaussian blur, and there. So now there's a little bit more light just coming down off the bottom like that. There we go. Set it about 25 pixels. 28. Alright, almost 29 actually. Hit OK. And now, depending on how bright you actually want the guy, you can add a third layer and just do the same thing with the Gaussian blur in order to make him incredibly bright. But next we're just going to go to clouds. In order to add the clouds, we're going to just want to put in a new curves layer. Go up to curves, make sure it's all white. You don't want any of the lasso tool for that version. And then we're going to want to use our brush. In order to be able to see anything with our brush, we're going to want to maybe up this a little bit, but then we're going to want to hit Command I so that it's black by default and we have to paint it white. So in order to paint white, we're going to want to go down to here and switch this to our white color. You can do that pretty easily. You just go select this color, go all the way up to white if you don't already have white, and then just start painting around where you think the white should obviously go. This is going to be the fog layer, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but you see, you can tell where it is with I don't think that's getting bright enough, so we'll just pull this back a little bit and put this end up. See? That made it a lot more noticeable. Now that looks a little bit more like fog and less like a light shining down. And then next we're going, in order to put the clouds in, we're going to go to Filter, then Render, and hit Clouds. Here's our clouds right down here. You can kind of see them. You'll be able to see them better right there. Might even want to put this up a little bit more. There, now you can really see them. And then next we're going to want to go back to the black, our black color, and make sure your hardness is at 0. Put your brush, you know, pretty high. Maybe not that high. About 300 pixels, and we're going to just want to color black where you don't want the fog. Make sure it looks pretty nice. That should be good. Maybe I don't really want it down here either. Alright. And then you can kind of see the light right there. Now it looks pretty foggy. Now you can see what it looks like without the fog. It does look bright, but it doesn't really look much more than bright. The fog adds a really cool element to it. Makes it look a bit more mysterious. And then that's pretty much it for the light tutorial and all the rest of it. So hope you guys learned something.